outside means you don't have to worry about the blimp, is that right?
No, outside means that I don't have to worry about the light.
Okay.
I still have to worry about the sound. But when I go inside, I get to really play. Studio is what I love. It's a more controlled environment. And, my favourite lens, you probably know, is my 85 1.4.
Gee.
Yes. Well, actually, all of it from the beginning, all the way through.
Do you own all of them still?
Yeah, terrible. But I only use my G now. But my 50mm 1.4, 35 1.4, 24 1.4, 105 2, 135 2. Anytime I get to pull any of those out, I make an excuse to, because they are beautiful, beautiful lenses. And so I like to shoot my primes. I love to shoot my primes. There is a...
So the DC on the 105 and the 135?
No, I don't really know how to do that. I've done it by mistake a couple of times, and I'm going, what the hell's that? What happened? No, I don't. You can show me that later if you like. Because I don't use it on them. I never really kind of got it. I mean, I know it changes the depth of your rule of thirds, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, well, the guys in Nikon Hong Kong explained how it works to me, so I'll explain it to you.
I told you I'm technically inept. I know how to pick it up. It's focal length. It's wide open. Bang.
Beautiful rendition, don't they? Anyway, just.
They are. I mean, they really are. Especially, like I'll have one lens on my pouch, in my blimp, and I'll have another on my pouch, and I can't always run out offset to go and grab something out of my bag. So I'll have my little 135 or my 105, my 85 sitting there, and I'll be like, "Oh, honey, it's time for you to come out of the bag," and on she goes. So yeah, I really like that a lot. And
beautiful. And what else are your staples? So I know you are never seen without a black rapid on. Is there any other gear that you will always be shooting with?
Yeah, I am in a fortunate position where I get to use whatever I want, and I do a lot of research before I decide on what I'm gonna get. I shoot SanDisk cards. I'm a member of the SanDisk Extreme team, as you know. I've shot over 1 million frames on SanDisk, and I've never lost a single frame.
That's because you're trying to work through your...
I'm trying to lose them. Exactly. Black Rapid, of course. Nikon, of course. Aquatech is a very important part of what I do. Gitzo, I very rarely use a tripod or a monopod. I use a monopod a fair bit when I've got the 400-2.8 out, and even the 200-400-4. But I have to set rigs up, remote rigs, a lot of the time, whereas I can't stand next to it because we're blowing something up. So I use my Gitzos, and they blow me away how solid they are. And I have to position them away from the blast so that the rear leg, it's got something in case it's going to push against it. But they're incredible. I use Nik software, which I find absolutely fabulous. I can't get past Silver Effects though, because I don't do a lot. And when I do, I literally just do it for myself. So
what is your workflow then? Like, you are on the set, how soon do you have to give them files? Do you always know, I've got to get the poster and this promo material, that promo material? Are you color coding it depending on the shot they were doing and that kind of thing? Or you just, here's my SanDisk, see you next film?
No. I load my SanDisk. I shoot 232s, right? One on a backup, and I literally pull it out.
Do you shoot raw?
Yeah, I shoot everything raw. Download. I do a very quick pass, just checking for sharps and eyes that are closed, and then I dump everything onto a hard drive. Every 2 or 3 days, I send it back to my lab in LA, and then the studio looks after it. But I don't do a great deal. If I'm doing a selection for the director or the producer, I might play around with some things. I'll probably start doing more printing. I've just discovered Epson printers. Oh, can't believe it. I was at a trade show a couple of weeks ago, and the guys were printing up some of my work. Oh my God, I couldn't believe the quality of the black and whites coming out of that printer. You know, that 3880, absolutely astounding. And they printed my big Liberty photograph. I don't know if you've seen that, and it's just absolutely amazing. So then that's pretty much my entire workflow.
Okay, so how do you get all your gear around then? I mean, we're here on the 36th floor of the Hilton Hotel. I imagine you're travelling many months of the year. How much excess baggage are you carting around, and how do you manage it?
Well, yeah, the last time we were away was for 13 months in one period. That was last year, and then this year we look like being away for probably 10 or 11 months. So I try and ship all my gear. I take probably a D700 and a 24 to 120 in a carry-on, and then all my other gear, like 120, 130 kilos worth of gear, gets shipped, and I pack it all in. I use HPRC cases because they're lighter. They're 25% lighter than anything else on the market at the moment. So that keeps down the shipping costs, and on occasions I have to, when I did Hannah, I got called in the morning to head to Morocco, and 3 hours later I was on a flight. So I had to take everything. Excess baggage, and that was $3,500. So I could have bought someone a business class fare, and they could have had a free holiday. You could have come along, Matt.
Well,
as my excess baggage.
I don't think I'd fit in your blimp though. Yeah, right. Okay. Have you ever lost bags then?
No, you know what? I never have, and I'm not even going to touch wood because it hasn't happened. And I believe in my gear so much that if I lose it, it's going to go missing for a couple of days. I've got my D700 or my D7000 with a short zoom in my bag. If I really have to, I can do my work for a day or two. It's going to make it a little bit harder on frame rate and things like that. But you know what? No one's going to notice difference. The D7000 is 16.8 megapixels. It's bigger than the 700 or D3S. So for a start, they're not going to pick anything up on file size. So, I don't think it's a good, happy place that we're in being Nikon guys. You and me. Those Nikon guys. Those Nikon guys.
Have to be the first time I'm cutting this video because I need to stop and think. What's my other questions?
You've had too many beers. You've been drinking wine all day.
So,
yes.
Delhi already told me you have the best job of all of them, and that you ambassadors have the best jobs in the world. But what for you is the best, and what's on the other side the hardest part of your job?
Well, I make my job work for me. I take my family with me everywhere. I love the whole process of filmmaking. I mean, I literally adore it. I'm really hard pressed to think of a bad side. Even if I have someone that's difficult or not fun to work with, they're not there the whole time, and they're not, the way I look at things, if I have a crappy day, that crappy part of the day is 5 minutes. The thing that happened to make it crappy was 5 minutes. So I'm not going to take it through the rest of the day. Yeah. I'll just let it stop there and move on. I know it's almost a dumb saying, but life's too short. It's not worth it. You got to just rise above things. I'm a distraction on set, a real big distraction, and I need to be as small as I possibly can. And this goes for all clients. Whether you're on a film set or whether whatever you're doing, you're there to please the client. So if you feel that something's not right, then you got to move on. You just got to, you got to get out of the way. You got to let them do the things that they want to do. You can't just be in someone's face just for the fact that you think, oh, the producer wants to see me on set. No, he doesn't. The producer wants to see his film get made. And if you being there for that day is going to upset people, well then you're actually doing your job by not being there. Of course, that doesn't happen very often, and it might have happened to me once or twice in my career. But you've still got to be conscious of that. It's not about you. And I think that's, in my job, that's where photographers make their mistake, is they think it's all about them and all about the photograph that they're recording and getting that image, you know. I mean, like, I'm all about iconic images. I've said to you before, I don't look at myself as an artist. I have a raw and dirty style, and I like to keep it raw and dirty. But at the same time, I'm there to do a job and I'm there to make the client happy. So I'm out of there if anyone's not in a great, fabulous mood.
Touches on two questions I have.
Yeah.
You don't consider yourself an artist.
No.
You consider photography an art.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how do you resolve that? You're a tradesman working in the field of artistry.
No, I think I'm more of an architect, really. I mean, I go out there and I record images. I've got to tell a story in a single frame. So a director has an hour and a half to tell his story. I have 250th of a second. I don't think that's an art. I think it's storytelling from my point of view, sure, but it's recording. It's news photography, and you know, I'll probably get slapped around the head by news photographers and David Dare Parker and all those guys telling me that news photography is an art. But I'm sorry, I don't think it is art. I think it's photojournalism, and that's really what I do and how I approach it. I mean, Ansel Adams, he was an artist. You know, a true artist. You know, we can all get caught up a little bit too much in this whole art world, and I think a lot of the time it's unnecessary. It's, you know, just be yourself. You know, I'm a photographer. I shoot films. That's me.
So keeping in mind your rough and dirty style.
Dirty and raw and gritty.
Okay, not dirty. Raw and gritty. What do you then separates a good shot and that great iconic shot?
The eyes, usually. It literally comes down to the eye line, and for me it's all about the eyes. I mean, obviously the pose and the lighting is very important, but if you get that with the eyes, and that, you know, just clicks and bounces and makes you go wow, well then, you know, that's literally all that it's about. You know, that's my job is bums on seats in cinemas, right? So for most people that are going to see a movie, I'm the first point of contact, or my work is the first point of contact. So, you know, my job, I'm a marketing tool. I'm just another piece of the puzzle of the marketing department. I'm the architect that, you know, gives them the plans that they go out there and design a campaign, you know.
So keeping that in mind, so it's about the eyes. Obviously, the video camera is going to get a lot of eye contact, so you have to pick a position where the background's going to work. You're not going to get the lighting rig, but hopefully you're going to get some fleeting eye contact. Does that mean you spend a lot of time near the film camera, or?
Well, actually, eye contact is not what I want. It's funny though. I mean, like a poster that I've got out at the moment, Safe House, that's all eye contact with Denzel Washington, and that's actually quite rare to get from him.
Was that taken?
That was taken on set, yeah. No, that was with the D700 in my blimp, actually.
And he was in, that was whilst filming?
Yep.
Okay, I thought you lit it.
No.
Okay, they had
No.
other good lights.
No, I found some light and I used it. You know, we've got some of the greatest, now these directors of photography, they are artists. They're the guys that light the set. And we have some of the greatest artists ever doing the lighting. But I don't always use what they have given themselves. I'll take a little corner which is not ever seen, and I'll use that. Or an actor will be standing there waiting to come on and do his scene, and I'll pinch a bit of light from that. It's no different to you walking outside, walking down the street, seeing some light bouncing off a wall, kicks back onto someone. It's like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Or someone inside a doorway. It's lit. You go outside, someone lit it, whether it be the Lord Jesus or God that lit it. The sun lit it. My son happens to be a human being who lights it, and sometimes I use their light, which is absolutely magnificent, and other times I find my light on the set that they did. Of course, I can't do it without them. I'd have to light my own, but that works well too. I've picked up some amazing lighting techniques over the years from guys like Oliver Wood, Simon Duggan, Dean Semler, guys like that.
And the DOP for Sanctum was an Aussie guy, wasn't it? Jules O'Loughlin?
Yeah.
With how intense the filmmaking process is, obviously you've shot with a lot of the same people again and again, so you must have formed relationships. So do you actually have any time on set to socialise with them?
Yeah, look, a film set's like being in the circus, I mean, we're all away from home, regardless of what position you are, whether you're, me or, an actor or a producer or a director. You got to eat somewhere, you got to drink somewhere, and so you tend to hang out a lot together. You form your little posses. They actually call me Julie the cruise director because I'm always organising the dinners and the nice places to go. But you do. It's no different to being at school or anything else. You form your little cliques, and you guys go and hang out, and I'd like to call it a dysfunctional family, but it's actually not all that dysfunctional, because in general we get on really well together. If you go global, chances are that you're not just global because you're good at what you do, you're actually easy to get on with. So being user-friendly is very important to getting out of your home base. I mean, there's a lot of people that, from past jobs that are just, it can be nasty people. And it's like, why do I have to put up with you? But when there's more at stake, you tend to find that people don't deal with that sort of person as well. So that sort of person doesn't end up there. And they certainly don't last very long in the film industry. So, as much as, people think that we're all ego-driven and stuff like that, and, to a degree that's true because you're striving to be the best that you can possibly be on a daily basis. It's not like, it's not like you know what you're going to be doing tomorrow. You have to, every 3 to 6 months we're going for another job interview. We get hired and fired 3-4 times a year. And, it's hard.
But you wouldn't change it?
No.
So you saying making it work for you and taking the family with you, will that change once your son's starting school? No, not at all. I mean, we're looking at now putting him probably in an international school where there's a international curriculum. There's 6,500 schools worldwide. Okay. And even if we go to Namibia later this year, we're shooting in the country, and there's a school only 15 kilometres away that runs that same curriculum. So Hunty's going to have a fine education, and he's been travelling with us since he's 2 months old. He was in Spain on the film set on Green Zone. So he's really well accustomed to being on the road. And my wife Maria, she's not only a great wife, but she's the best mummy in the world, and they have a really good little teamwork, and she teaches him as much as what she possibly can, and the two of them are really well adjusted into the industry, and she loves being on the road as much as what I do. So I'm lucky that I don't have a wife that wants to stay at home and have a routine. She wants to be with me and wants to be with our son. So, yeah, it is. So last question, and it's...
Last? We could go for another few hours, surely.
They'll kick us out, I'm sure.
No, they will.
Have you had any major cock-ups or disasters, not necessarily on set, but in your career at all? Any key points for learning?
No, I've always been, as much as I'm a bit of a rat bag, I've always been very conscious of the fact that I'm only 1 or 2 words away from losing everything. So I think about things, although I don't think about my photography that much, I think about my career quite frequently, and I do love what I do. And I learnt very early that the client's right. I mean, there's no point in arguing with people. Honey catches more flies. It's about making people happy. if you're a grumpy, cantankerous person, you're going to bring everyone around you down. So I just kind of coast through things, and I'm really tough, don't get me wrong. I want to be the best, and I don't know whether I was the best yesterday, today, or tomorrow. So I'm constantly striving for that. I think that's the important thing for people to understand, that you can be the photographer you believe you want to be. You know, you can be the photographer you dream to be. I'll give you a quick anecdote from the beginning of my career to end this. When I was a cadet photographer, I heard about, we're talking, amongst all the photographers, and they're talking about a National Geographic photographer that got sent away for 6 weeks, and he shot 240 rolls of film or something like that. And I was working in a newspaper at the time, and they didn't even give us the budget to spend a night in a $15 hotel. And I'm like, wow, I don't believe that. I don't believe that can happen. Now I go away for 6-9 months of the year, staying in really nice hotels, delivering 50 to 100,000 frames. And, in the old days, I'd shoot thousands of rolls of film, and someone's paying for me every single day. So I literally became the photographer that I never believed existed. So I really do believe you can become the photographer you dream to be. And that's who I became, and you can't ever take that for granted. I take nothing for granted. Every little job that I apply for, whether it's, just a local thing that I know that I'll probably get, I don't take it for granted. I go in there and I pitch it like it's the first time I've ever met these guys. Because you can never take it for granted. There's always someone chomping at your heels, and you've got to take it seriously. The second that you let your guard down is the second that that other guy that you've been joking about is going to come in and steal your work. So...
That was a very serious note for an interview to end with you.
Yeah, because it means a lot to me. And it is a little bit serious. But it does. It's the longest memory that I have on photography is that. You can be the photographer you dream to be.
Although he's being a bit of a smart ass, that's excellent advice, and thank you very much for your time today. I'm sure that's been of great interest to everyone and myself. So
thanks, Maddie. That's really cool, man.